Welcome to Elevated Sports. I'm Kyle Johnson.
I'm Billy Mock.
And today, Billy, why don't you do the introduction for today's video?
Today, we have to pay tribute to the legend, the man, the husband, the father, the Mamba, the Kobe Bryant.
Last Sunday, we got the news of a terrible accident. Really, it's a tragedy. Kobe Bryant was in the accident. His daughter, Gianna, was in the accident, as well as 7 other people.
Yep.
I mean, it's tragic. But we are not here to weep about Kobe Bryant.
The sports world has done enough of that, and I think we would be doing Kobe Bryant a disservice,
Right.
if we weren't honoring his legacy.
Absolutely.
Rather than just being sad about it. Kobe deserves to be celebrated. I watched the Lakers' first game back in Staples last night against the Portland Trail Blazers. Just an outstanding, celebration of him. LeBron had the speech, which I think was awesome. Very brave to do what he did. Very strong. It's just been awesome to kind of see the NBA community and really just the whole entire sports community come around this this tragedy and do whatever we can to make good of it, right? Obviously, just honestly, in my opinion, probably one of the worst tragedy in sports. I think of Jose Fernandez. I think of when Isaiah Thomas's sister died before the playoffs. This really kind of tops it all off.
Right, and it's because Kobe had played for so long in the league and he had such a huge impact both on the court and off the court. This wasn't just like a sports community that was mourning the loss of an athlete.
Yeah.
This was people who didn't even watch sports.
Yeah.
Were like, that's terrible. That's so sad. And that's just the impact. That's just who Kobe was.
Exactly. And on the court, he's really the guy that kind of ushered in this new generation of basketball, kind of the social media era. And so, you got guys in, the 70s and 80s, your Michael Jordans, your Larry Birds and Magic Johnson, where you don't know much about these guys because all you're seeing is what you're seeing on the court. Right. And maybe a few interviews. Right. But now in the social media era, we get to see into the lives of players. And Kobe was kind of really that first guy. Like, Kobe was kind of like the NBA's son. Like, he was kind of raised in this, and we kind of got to see him grow. He comes in the league, 18 years old, straight out of high school, didn't even go to college. And we get to see him 20 years. We get to see the growth, right? Kind of the trials he went through as a younger guy in the league, and, how he kind of pulled himself together and really just became an inspiration. The Mamba mentality, the hard work, really cool. And personally, I'm unashamedly say this, I was never a Kobe fan. I was a basketball fan. And as a basketball fan, you had no other choice but to respect his greatness.
Right. Absolutely.
And so, yeah, it was definitely a hard hit when it happened. Kind of hard to believe, just the circumstances, right? Yeah. You're like, there's no way this is real.
Right.
And then it just started to sink in, like, wow, this is actually happening.
Yeah.
But like I said, the sports community has been doing whatever they can to see the good in this, right? And you've just seen everyone come together. With that being said, we have done a little sulking here about Kobe.
Yeah.
But like I said, we'd be doing him a disservice if we did not honor the greatness that was Kobe Bryant. So what we're going to do is we're just going to give you some of our top Kobe moments, whether it's on the court or off the court. We're just going to talk some Kobe.
Right. All right. Do you have any particular order? Or are you just going at it?
I'm just going for it.
Yeah, I don't have an order. Well, yeah. All right.
So I honestly didn't watch a lot of Kobe. I watched him in the finals and the playoffs, but he was not a guy that I was just following every night. And his 81-point game, obviously one of the most legendary moments of his career. I can't remember what year it was in, but I'm pretty sure I wasn't even a basketball fan. Like I was probably like 6 or 7 years old when it happened. But the story of the 81-point game has really just kind of it has lasted, right? And so I've gone back and watched the highlights of this game, and just to see how he took over that game was so just really astonishing. I love the Jalen Rose memes that have come of this game. The night before the tragedy, LeBron passed he passed Kobe third all-time scoring, which this is kind of a side note. That was extremely eerie what happened that night. LeBron passes Kobe, and then you have like this 10-minute interview after the game, LeBron talking about Kobe, honoring his legacy, talking about his friendship with Kobe. I don't know, it was very strange to watch that, and then the very next day this happened. But anyway, that was just me. I just found that, very eerie, kind of creepy almost,
right,
to think about that whole situation. But anyway, LeBron passes Kobe for third all-time scoring, and someone on Twitter gets on there and says, LeBron has just passed Kobe for all-time scoring, but Jalen Rose is in the building, so nothing's official yet. So I absolutely. And then there's the one meme where it's Rajon Rondo, Paul Pierce, Vince Carter, I think Reggie Miller's in the picture, and it says, "Smile if Kobe dropped 40 on you," and they're all taking a picture. And Jalen Rose is in the picture too, and they Photoshop another smile onto his face. It's awesome. It's so good. Just what has come from this 81-point game. It's awesome. So that's one of my moments, is the 81-point game, and second most points all time in a game, right, behind Wilt Chamberlain. Back in the boomer age of basketball, when that didn't really count,
Okay, boomer.
People were dropping 50 and 60, in their sleep.
Right.
This is the most points in a game of our generation.
Right. Very impressive.
And it wasn't like he was just putting up shots just to put up shots. Like he was taking high percentage shots, and actually, hitting shots to win this game. Right. So, yeah, that's one of my moments for sure.
All right. My first moment. I don't even remember what year he started this, but Kobe started the Mamba Sports Foundation, and basically the Mamba Sports Foundation, according to their website, is focused on creating a positive impact through sport. The foundation aims to develop learning skills, enhance character traits, and expand personal values that ultimately empower and inspire self-confidence. And that was who we saw Kobe as on the court. You talk to so many of his former teammates and coaches and stuff, and they would tell you that Kobe was the hardest working player on that team. And that's something that Kobe was passionate about.
Yeah.
He's passionate about his desire to get better. And I heard it earlier today, but Kobe was willing to inspire, and mentor so many different players, because he's like, I have all this skill, why not share it with everyone else?
Yeah.
And that's what we see through this Mamba Sports Academy, or the Mamba Sports Foundation, is Kobe trying to spread that skill that he has and share it with everyone else, not just how to play the sport, but how to be better people.
Yeah.
And I think that's a lasting impact that Kobe will have. By the numbers, they're shown by the numbers on their website. He has impacted almost 10,000 youth through this program, through the foundation, impacted nearly 500 veterans, and he has over 1,000 plus volunteers through the foundation.
Sweet.
So, that's a significant impact that his foundation has had so far, and I expect that we will continue to see more and more people impacted through that.
Yeah, it probably, it has the chance to grow, and I think you probably see a lot of growth in that foundation. I have looked into it a little bit as well. It's just a really awesome program. And, you know, he has this, and you also see his impact, like as a mentor in the NBA. Like, I think of guys like, you know, Jason Tatum, Devin Booker, DeMar DeRozan, like some of these, trying to think of who else, but you know, some of these guys that Kobe was like their mentor. Giannis, and you almost can watch these guys and see Kobe's game in them. And so, you know, obviously these guys devastated when this happened, but I guess it showed you how much, you know, of a mentor Kobe was to a lot of these guys. And there's really no one else, in the basketball world kind of like that.
Right.
You know, just took so many guys under his wing, you know, and so many guys that have been improved from Kobe's impact.
Right. I mean, he wasn't even in the league anymore, but he was still willing to go out and help and mentor all these guys, these young generation of, you know, future NBA stars.
Yeah.
And he was willing to go out and work with them all.
Yeah.
And just the fact that he was able to do that, even though he's not even working, he's not even part of the NBA anymore. Yeah.
My next moment, the infamous moment when Matt Barnes was inbounding the ball and tried to make Kobe flinch, and Kobe was unfazed by it. I think it was about a year ago. Some videos surfaced where they're like, because of that camera angle, if you look at a different angle, you realize he wasn't actually putting it in his face. But I believe it was close enough where any man would have flinched at this. This video kind of just embodies, you know, Kobe's, you know, just attitude. Like he was so determined that anything that anyone did to try to distract him, you know, he wasn't having any of it. Right. Which actually leads to another moment. There's the video of when he's sitting at the scorer's table, and you have the actor, I think it was Chris Rock. You have him sitting there, and you can tell he's like trying to tell a joke or something to Kobe, and he's trying with everything with him, and he's trying to like get his attention, not to like distract him, but you know, he's just a funny dude, just wants to, you know, get some interaction with Kobe. And then there's another
game.
He is stone faced. Like you could tell he hears him, but he's not going to give in. And there's this other actor, I forget his name, but he's sitting next to the dude. Just the goofiest look on his face. But just, you know, those moments kind of just embodied who Kobe was as a basketball player.
Right. Next. So LeBron James started a school.
Yep.
Where is it? Akron, Ohio?
Yeah, Akron.
Called the I Promise School.
Yep.
Apparently I didn't know this, after Kobe retired from the NBA, he started writing children's fantasy books.
Yep.
They focused on an inner city basketball team. Last June, Kobe decided to donate tons of books, all the books in the series or whatever it is, to the school for every student. I think that's really cool. Just the fact that he's willing to be part of this awesome initiative that LeBron started. Kobe's like, I wanna be part of that. I want to impact the youth of today, whether it's in a basketball sense or not, you know. And I have more later, but we'll talk about like the educational and how he was not just about sports, but he was trying to help grow a better generation of people academically, and physically and mentally. So I thought that was pretty cool.
Here's another moment. Kobe jumps over a pool of snakes. We just recently watched that video.
We did.
Legendary video right there. His final title against Boston, his fifth championship, 7-game series, 2010, I think it was. This was kind of like when I started watching basketball. Didn't really have, I like LeBron, of course. But I remember this finals happening and kind of following it and just seeing the greatness of Kobe. That was kind of the time period in which, I kind of became a basketball fan, and Kobe kind of shaped, how I watched and viewed the game, and was a part of my love for the game, even though I wasn't a fan of him. But to, kind of to watch some of these big moments he was in, just really cool to be able to say that you witnessed, right? So, definitely that final title against Boston was really, when I started watching basketball. So to be able to watch that was very cool. And then my final one, his final game, 60 points against the Utah Jazz. I remember when it happened was the same night as your Warriors to break the single season record. I wasn't watching either game. I forget, for whatever reason, I wasn't able to watch either game. I was following it on my phone, and I just see him like, Kobe dropped 60 in his last game. And I was like, it's got to be rigged. I mean, his last game, get all the shots, which was the case. He shot like 45 shots in that game. So, I watched the highlights and everything. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Kobe dropped 60 in his last game.
And they won.
They won, yeah. He took like the last 7 shots of that game and made all of them. And he's the reason they won that game.
And I remember it very distinctly. The Lakers were very bad that season.
Oh, I think that was their 17th win.
So the fact that they won that game alone was a miracle.
Yeah.
And then Kobe putting up 60 points just made it that much better.
Yeah. It just, and the reactions from everyone in the stadium is awesome. And so, a couple of nights ago, they did a rerun of this game on ESPN. So I was like, okay, I'm going to watch it so I can kind of, really take in this game for what it is. Despite the fact that he shot so many, he put up so many shots, just the game in general it was really awesome to watch, just the love that Kobe was getting. Right. And then just down the stretch, watching him score 60 was just phenomenal. And I'm like, man, I wish I'd actually watched this live when it happened.
Right.
And they did do us good by when they did the rerun, they didn't show the parts that Kobe wasn't actually playing. So he played.
Cares about those parts.
Yeah, he played the whole first quarter, and whole third quarter, and whole fourth quarter.
Up until like the very end.
Yeah. And so you kind of got to see Kobe, obviously tired, getting old, battled through it. And, at the end of the game, they were willing to take him out of the game. They're like, Kobe, you've done great. Do you want to come out? He's like, no, I'm going to stay in this game. I'm going to win this game for my team. Just awesome to watch. Yeah. Really cool.
Did you see the interview they did with Gordon Hayward?
No.
Or read about it. So
was it about how he stepped in?
How he stepped into the lane.
I heard about it. I didn't see an interview, but I did hear about this.
So they claimed, in case you don't know, they claimed that Gordon Hayward, as a sign of respect for Kobe, wanted to see Kobe get that 60-point game. So on Kobe's final free throw, to get to 60 points, he stepped into the lane before Kobe took the shot. Yeah. And everybody's like, oh, that was a nice gesture.
And he made sure the refs saw him do it too, in case he missed it.
Right. He said, it was, everybody was claiming that it was a nice gesture by Gordon Hayward, in case Kobe missed it, that he would get to do it again. I think it was like a day later after that report came out, Gordon Hayward came out and said, no, that's not true. In fact, I did not intentionally do that, because if I did, Kobe would lose respect for me. Kobe was super competitive all the way through to the end. And if I did something to give him points, he wouldn't have had respect for me.
So he didn't do it on purpose.
In fact, he was saying that, his goal was to keep Kobe as low as possible. His goal was to play as good a defense on Kobe as he could. Because
they were not giving Kobe any buckets in that game. If you watch the beginning of that game, he starts off like 0 for 5. Right. And not just because he was shooting bad. Utah was playing good defense on him. Right. And they were talking about that throughout the game, that they're not going to give anything.
Right. And that was what Gordon Hayward said. He's like, no, I did not give that to Kobe.
Man, well, that's funny, because I didn't actually hear that part. I just heard that Gordon Hayward purposely did it.
Right. Yeah.
Okay.
So I thought that was a cool rest of that story. Yeah. Something else. Kobe, after the 2008 Beijing Olympics, China's like, hey, we like Kobe. And Kobe actually kind of became like a cultural leader over in China. So he started the Kobe Bryant China Fund. In 2009, he donated 5 million yen, whatever the Chinese currency is. And he launched the fund. which established a way to raise money for sports and cultural programs in China. He also provided opportunities to American youth to learn Mandarin, as well as culturally enrich themselves by learning about the traditions of Chinese people. So it was kind of like, like everybody in America loves Kobe, now everybody in China loves Kobe, and Kobe's like, I'm going to try to like intertwine our cultures, so that we can have respect for each other as humans. And I thought that was a cool gesture by Kobe there.
That is cool, and that actually reminds me of an honorable mention. Has to do with the languages. If you know Kobe, like he knew multiple languages. The Mamba mentality was not just on the court, but like he was just a hard worker off the court, and like basically taught himself different languages. An honorable mention is when I don't know if you've seen the video, but he trash talks Luka Doncic in Slovenian.
That's amazing.
So basically, he's in this game, and he hears someone trash talking him in Slovenian behind him, and he turns around, and who is it right behind him? Kobe Bryant.
That's amazing. Luka wasn't even mad about that. He wasn't. He was like, dude, you can trash talk me all day.
It's a beautiful video. Do you have any more moments?
I do. I had 2 more.
Okay, let's hear it.
First, it was real short. It was only like a month ago. There was a car accident in Los Angeles, and it was a pretty foggy day. And Kobe wasn't in the accident, but he saw the accident happen. He was at the intersection where it happened, and he actually gets out of his car, and he goes over, he checks, he makes sure that the people that were in the accident, make sure that they're okay, calls for help. And he starts actually directing traffic through the accident so that everybody else can continue on their day. And, you don't usually see that with superstars. Usually superstars are just like, oh, I'm too important for this. I got places to be, stuff to do. Kobe took time out of his day and made sure that, what he saw, he didn't view himself as more important than these people.
Yeah.
He said, they're humans, I'm human. I'm going to care for them because that's what we're here for. So that was that. That was pretty cool. And then lastly, we're talking about Kobe as number 8 and number 24. Just going over some of his stats. I think they're amazing. As number 8, he had 8 All-Star selections. As number 24, he had 10 All-Star selections. As number 8, he had 3 NBA championships and 2 championships as number 24. He had a scoring title as both number 8 and number 24.
Yep.
Very scary. He had 16,866 points as number 8 and 16,777 points as number 24. Those are eerily similar.
Yeah.
I saw a stat earlier this week that said, like, if you were to take his points scored as number 8 and his points scored as number 24, each different, like, career would have been now, like, I think it was like 80-something different current NBA Hall of Famers in total points scored. That's absurd.
That's crazy.
And then, that's Kobe. He was a beast on the court, and he was a great person off the court.
Yeah. Who are you taking, 8 or 24? I'm taking 8 because here's why I say I'm taking 8. He was electrifying when he was number 8. I think we think about his clutchness in number 24,
right?
But I think oftentimes Kobe's just sheer athleticism goes under the radar,
right?
If you watch some of his mixtapes from when he was number 8, just crazy athletic ability. I'll take number 8. I'll take number 8.
I'm gonna take your word for it. I'll take number 8.
Okay.
Maybe if we're technologically advanced enough, we can throw up this graphic so you can enjoy.
I don't know if we're there yet.
I don't know if we're there yet either. But if we are, you'll find out.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Hey, can I share a moment?
Yeah. Let Connor come here.
I have a moment. Honestly, we're probably going to get a lot of flack for sharing this, and I didn't tell these guys ahead of time that I was going to share this, but I don't really care because I think it's super important to talk about, and I don't want to, this is for about, fun and community, but, I think we should use this platform, to talk about important stuff, and this is a good time to do it. So, mine is actually an interview that he did.
Yeah.
There was some controversial stuff, too, in his personal life. But towards the end of his life, and he was accused of some things that turned out not to be true, but what was true is that he was unfaithful to his wife. However, towards the end of his life, we see him like really emphasize being a good husband and being a good father. Like there was this big turnaround that we saw, like where he just like walked away from that and like really poured into his family. And there was an interview where he was being asked, what did you learn during this like really dark season of your life, all the stuff you were going through?
Is this an interview with Stephen A. Smith?
Yeah. And he said, God is good. It doesn't get any simpler than that. Yeah. And Stephen Smith asked, did you know that before all this happened? And he said, you can know it, but until you go to pick up that cross and you can't carry it, and God carries it for you and picks up you and the cross, then you really know. And that Sunday, actually, him and his daughter were leaving Mass. They were at church that morning, headed to this basketball game. And so I think, again, towards the end of his life, he actually opened up about his faith. And this wasn't one of those things where a celebrity just like thanks God for an award or something. Like you saw a difference in his life from before his faith and afterwards. And I think if anything, what this kind of shows us is like none of us are promised tomorrow. Yeah. I think it's like a good reminder about like how fragile life really is. And so my question is for like any of our viewers, like, again, probably going to get some flack for this, but we've talked about it on Elevated Entertainment. We want to talk about it on Elevated Sports too. Like, where do you put your hope? Because like Kobe lived for himself and he realized that didn't work. Yeah. And so his life turned around when he gave it to God. And the Bible says all have sinned and fallen short of the glory of God. And like if we die apart from his love and forgiveness, then that's it. We die separated from God forever. And we're deserving of that punishment. But the thing that's different about Christianity and every other religion is every other religion is telling you got to do this list of things to get to God. Christianity is the one thing that says God came down to us. And he took the punishment for our sins for us. Because we're not good enough. We're just not. And that's why I love that quote is like, God doesn't just help us carry the cross. It's like when a little kid is like trying to help his dad like carry like a piece of wood, like if his dad's building a fence or whatever, and the dad picks it up and the little kid's just like dangling off the back. Like he's not helping, he's actually making it harder, but the dad carries it anyway and lets his kid feel like it's a part of it. That's like us and God. Like he's carrying us and bringing us along for the ride. It's not about what we can or can't do. It's about what he did. So anyway, I just thought that was really cool and that should be shared because all three of us like believe that, but you're not promised tomorrow. So that's not something you should wait on, Yeah. So I think that's like probably one of the coolest parts of his legacy that like, especially you see towards the end of his life, where because of that, he ended up leaving a legacy that was a lot more than just stats or being a great athlete, So that's my spiel.
Amen, Pastor. Absolutely love that. Kobe will be missed. Gigi was a baller. I mean, you see some of these videos of her playing basketball. Lights out. Would have been the next Mamba. Gone too soon. But God has a plan. He has a plan for all things. One last thing. I was playing basketball on Sunday, actually after I heard about this, about an hour later. Me and Connor were at this community event, and I was playing basketball with some dudes. And some dude had me posted up. We were playing 21. He had me posted up, and he had 19. And he just says, as he's posting me up, he says, this one's a tribute to Kobe. He turned around, fadeaway, drained a fadeaway right on me. I almost just weeped right there. I almost weeped.
Wept. Yeah, I was gonna say that, but I didn't want to ruin the story.
I almost wept. I'm sorry. But yeah, you got anything else?
No. Thank you, Kobe.
Thank you, Kobe. We salute you. Thank you for your service.